Hello, this is Mr. Quinola, and here is part 3 of the unit circle. I'm going to help you figure out the rest of these rotations and the rest of these locations for part 3. So, if you remember, the unit circle is a circle where the radius is 1 sitting on the coordinate plane. And let's figure out what this rotation is. So, from here to here. Okay, it doesn't go quite to 45, so we're going to make this rotation 30 degrees. Oh, that should be red. Let's make it red, or whatever color you assigned all of these rotational values in degrees. So if that's 30 degrees, and let's use this 30 to figure out what this location is, these coordinates, the x and y values. So let's take another color. Let's not use the same color that we used to make this red triangle. So from this point right here, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a vertical line going straight down to intersect the x-axis. I'm going to just highlight this radius right here to make that blue, and I'm going to highlight this part of the x-axis to make that blue. So we're going to focus on this blue triangle right here. And if you notice by looking at it up close, it's a right triangle. This vertical and horizontal line are perpendicular. And let's see, if we look at it, we know that from the 0, it rotates to 30 degrees. So from this line to this radius right here is 30 degrees. So I'm going to put a 30 right here. And there's a reason why we have this triangle, because this triangle down here represents this blue triangle right here. And as we wrote on here, these lines are perpendicular and the rotation is 30 degrees right there and there. And because it's a unit circle, this radius is 1. So we're going to assign this side on this triangle 1 unit. You guys notice, hey, this is another special right triangle. If this is 30, this is 90, and then this angle right here is 60 degrees. So this is that second special right triangle, a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we know what the hypotenuse is. It's 1 unit, because it's a unit circle, and this represents the radius of that circle. And it's the longest side. It's the longest side because it's opposite the 90-degree angle. And so let's use this 1 to help us figure out what this vertical side is. Okay, so again, if you need help on, if you need review on 30, 60, 90s or 45, 45, 90 triangles, look at my previous videos, or ask one of your math teachers. This is your hypotenuse. This side right here is the shortest side because it's opposite the 30-degree angle. And so the short side, with that shortcut of 30, 60, 90 triangles, the short side is half of the hypotenuse. What's half of 1? Yeah, it's 1/2. Okay, and then this side right here, this horizontal side that's opposite the 60-degree angle, is the middle side. Okay, it's not the longest, it's not the shortest, it's the middle. And the middle side that's opposite the 60-degree angle is the short side times radical 3. So we have the short side, the short leg, times radical 3. Now let's simplify that because this looks complicated, so let's make it simple. Let's just put a 1 under there to make our multiplication a little easier. So 1 times radical 3 is radical 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. So this horizontal side, this middle side, is radical 3 over 2. This vertical side, or the short side that's opposite the 30-degree angle, is 1/2. Okay, so now let's use this triangle to help us get the location of this point right here. So let's zoom out. All right, so Remember, this is the x value, the x coordinates, and it's how far you go from the origin, and you go horizontally. So from here to here, what's that length from here to here? And let's look at our triangle. So the horizontal distance is radical 3 over 2. So this value, this x coordinate is radical 3 over 2. And how much did we rise, okay, from here to here? So vertically rise, let's look at our 30, 60, 90 triangle. Vertical rise is 1/2. So from here to here. So our y coordinate is 1/2. All right, so there is our location for a 30-degree rotation. So if we rotate 30 degrees, what location did it land on? Radical 3 over 2 and 1/2. And just like the 90 triangle or the 45-degree rotation, we can use this value to help us figure out other locations. So if we reflected this point over the y-axis, okay, this point would end up just right here. And let's look at our little notes about quadrant 2. This x coordinate is always negative, so we're going to take this x coordinate, and since it's reflected over here, we're going to make it negative. So negative radical 3 over 2, only if they made this parentheses move over here. That would be a little helpful. And so that's a negative. And since we reflected over the y-axis, it doesn't change vertically. So it's still positive 1/2. Okay. And so because this rotation is 30 degrees away from there, okay, so we're going to move backwards actually. So if we moved 30 degrees backwards, so clockwise from that 180 degrees, this rotation would be 150 degrees. So it goes 0 all the way to 150 degrees. Okay. And so then let's use this location. If we reflected over the x-axis, okay, this location would now, this point would end up here at this point right here, that reflection over the x-axis. And so it's in the third quadrant, and we know that both x and y coordinates are negative. So let's just preload it and put negatives there. And so since this is a reflection, so this coordinate is the reflection of this. This is negative, so negative radical 3 over 2. And this would be negative 1/2. And so let's get that rotation. So remember, these are increments of 30 degrees. So from 180 degrees, and we rotate 30 degrees, this would be 180 plus 30 would be 210 degrees. So that means from here, we rotated 210 degrees to get here to this location of negative 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. Okay. And let's go back to this original coordinate right here, this original location. And if we reflected this over the x-axis, okay, it would end up at this point right here. And let's look at our notes for the fourth quadrant. So all the x values are positive, so this still stays the same. So it's still radical 3 over 2. And because the y value, the vertical changes, so this would be negative 1/2. And the rotation, okay, so this is, if we went all the way around, that would be 360 degrees, but we're not going to go all the way. Okay, so this is based off of this 30-degree angle. So this would be 360 minus 30 degrees would be 330 degrees. All right, so we're getting there. We're almost done. So to get this angle and this location of radical 3 over 2 and 1/2, just remember that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle with a hypotenuse of 1. So the hypotenuse is 1, and so the vertical or the y coordinate is 1/2. The horizontal or the x is radical 3 over 2. So that's how we got that. And we use this as a reference to get this coordinate. Okay, if we reflected, get this coordinate, we reflected over the x-axis. Okay, and then we could either reflect over the y-axis to get this coordinate or reflect this coordinate, okay, over the x-axis to get that. All right, there is part 3 of the unit circle. We're almost there. We're almost done. Look at all these values. Make sure you understand how we got all these values. If you need to replay or press rewind, it's way better to understand it than to try to memorize all of these, because this would just be randomness. No, don't make it randomness. Make it something that you can understand and you can explain to your friends. All right, there it is. Have a nice day.